Today we're going to talk about fundamental education.
The fundamental education is the science of the consciousness. It is the science that allows us to discover our relationship with human beings, nature, and all things. It is worthless to receive instruction, to attend classes, to study, if in the process of our daily living we are miserably destroying one another.
So, following our study on the self-knowledge course, today we'll see lesson 11, and we have to talk about education. Now, why is this such an important topic? Well, we all are used to a form of education that we receive when we were in school, when we were in kindergarten, high school, college, university, etc. And certainly those courses or those studies help us to be prepared to be good citizens, to have a job, to have a career, to be successful in life. But unfortunately, we at Gnostic culture see that type of education is completely flawed, because there are many aspects of that particular person which are not taken into account at the moment of choosing a career or a profession in life. So today we'll talk about the vocation, what is it and how to find it, and the importance of receiving a truthful and conscious education.
Indeed, the true objective of a fundamental education must be to create true men and women who, because of this psychological integration, are cognizant and intelligent.
So, first of all, if we take a look at history, we would see that the ancient Mayans, when a child was born, the parents will take their baby to the astrologer, so that this astrologer would be able to tell them the characteristics of the being of that particular child. And so if the characteristics of the being of that child was specifically related with the aspect of force, then the education that that child was going to receive was based specifically on military aspects, on martial arts, on battle, on security, on everything that's related with the aspect of force and war. Instead, if the astrologer said that child's mission was related with medicine, then the child was receiving from an early age education that would prepare him to be a good doctor. If maybe the child's characteristics was related with art, then he would be trained to become a great musician, an artist, a painter, maybe an architect. And so this way, at the time where the Mayan Empire was at its peak, they had the perfect society where each individual was fulfilling its specific purpose.
When someone works at something that he likes, with true vocation, he does it with love because he loves his vocation, and because his abilities in life are precisely those of his vocation.
And that's the problem with modern education. Today, modern education treats every child as equals, when in reality we are not. We are all different. In the same way that we cannot wear the same shoe size because we are different, or being is different, or characteristics are different, or specialties are different, or essence is unique. And so, current education forces every child to learn mathematics, art, science, physics, sports. And that is a problem, because if a child is not meant to learn mathematics or to excel at numbers, as it would be somebody whose ray of creation belongs to science, then the result is that that boy is going to find his vocation distorted. When he grows up, he won't be able to choose what he came to do. He won't be able to choose his real profession, but instead will end up choosing something based on money, based on what the family thinks or what society says. There are no jobs that are better than others. It is just where we fit in. Only there can we excel. Today we have people who work as lawyers, when in reality they should be doctors, or they should work as architects. And vice versa, we have someone who is working in construction, when in reality should have been a judge or a lawyer. Because when we find our true vocation, then doors open to us. and success comes to our life.
He who works in life in accordance with his vocation will work with true love and without ambition. Not all of us were born to be engineers, governors, presidents, doctors, lawyers, etc. In society, all jobs and trades are needed. No honest job can never be disdainful.
So essentially, there are 7 rays of creation, and each of these rays of creation belongs to one of the 7 planets. We have the moon, which is related with the home, the family, the household, the children. Then we have Mercury, which is related with the world, with science, with technology. Then we have Venus, which is related with art, with music, with love, with poetry, romance. We also have the Sun as a ray of creation, which is related with high authority, with fame, with leaders, kings, presidents, superintendents, people who are at the top of the social scale when it comes to organization and leadership. We have Mars related with force, with strength, with martial arts, with war, with the police, with the military, with security. Then we have Jupiter, which is related with justice, with the law, with lawyers, judges. We have Saturn, which is related with death, old age, all the process that involve leaving this realm, with cemeteries, with the final stages of life, but also is related with agriculture and the fields, the countryside. And each of these 7 rays of creation, of course, is subdivided into many subgroups. For example, Venus, yes, we have music, but we also have painting, and we also have art, also architecture, we also have poetry, we also have everything that's related with marriage, with couples, with counseling. In force, we have police, we have security, we have martial arts, and much more. So, essentially, if we were to know our ray of creation, we would know our vocation and we would know what to do in society.
Teachers who erroneously assume that students need to imitate in order to learn are mistaken. Whoever imitates does not learn, but becomes a machine, and that is all. Children should learn their first letter playing, so that studying becomes attractive, delightful, and happy for them.
When we do what we are born to do, then we succeed in life. I'm sure you can find many examples of people who are very successful that initially thought that the way to success was through studying a career, becoming an engineer, a doctor. And then after that they realized that no, what they had to do was follow their passion of becoming an artist, a singer, or a painter.
Unfortunately, in modern life, people work unwillingly because of ambition, since they perform jobs that do not coincide with their vocation.
And so, how can we find our vocation? It's very easy. We just have to remember the things that we would do when we were little children. Parents can easily spot their baby's vocation by taking a look at what the child likes to do, what he enjoys to do, what he is good at.
It never occurs to students to think about what education really is. They go to school, college, and university because their parents say so.
Unfortunately, sometimes the parents, they want their children to be a doctor, like their dad, or to follow the family history and be a lawyer. And that is a big mistake because, like I said, we are all unique, we are all different. And then you will find the bad doctor, which you would go because you say, I have a problem, and the doctor says you have nothing, go home, take some antidepressant. We can see that that man doesn't really have a vocation for medicine. He isn't really interested in helping us as a real doctor should. Or if we are the bad lawyer, that lawyer that doesn't enjoy his job, that is just looking to get a paycheck at the end of the week, well, maybe that's not a vocation.
What is the value of accumulating much knowledge within our mind if we continue to be confused? What is the value of technical and industrial skills if we use them for the destruction of our fellow men?
Or we can see something similar with the bad teacher, that person that's a teacher but doesn't really care about the children or about them understanding and comprehending the subject, but rather he forces them to memorize and then only approves and reproves students based not on their true knowledge but rather on their memory, and that is not the right way to do things.
Teachers should become more conscious in order to help students awaken their conscience, be it at school, college, or university. It is the duty of the teachers to discover the vocation of each student and guide him or her in that direction.
So, people today choose a profession not based on what they are good at or on what they came to do, but instead on money. So, I'm going to be a lawyer because a lawyer makes a lot of money. I'm going to be a teacher because a teacher makes a lot of money. I want to be a singer because I want to be famous, I want to have a lot of money, I want to have a lot of success. When in reality maybe my job should be to work in construction, or maybe to work in the cemetery because somebody has to do that, or perhaps to work with agriculture and farming. There is nothing wrong with any one job. The man that works at the hospital putting injections is no more or less important than the man that is working outside in a recycling plant, for instance. The problem is that we are doing things for which we are not meant to. And the consequence of current education, which treats us all like robots that we all have to perform exactly following certain patterns, is that it only serves to bring a state of atrophy to our centers. So reading too much can cause our brain to enter into a state of atrophy. Dancing is really good if we belong to the ray of Venus. But what are we doing putting children to dance when they belong to the ray of Force? They should be focusing on martial arts. And we also have to remember that current education's protocols and programs serve only to teach us how to be better servants of a system, how to be better machines, and it's created by people who are asleep.
A student repeats in a mechanical way, like a parrot, the subject he studies and which he was examined in.
So, there is a need for us to not only to find our true vocation and our place in society, but to not forget that we need to feed our essence and our spiritual part. And only in that way will our life really make sense, when we fulfill a purpose and when we actually really do something. So, to work is necessary, to study is necessary, but only to work and to study on those things that belong to our being, on our vocation, so that we can develop our inner aspects, our inner abilities as citizens and individuals. Because if we only work and study in order to satisfy a society or certain ideas that the world is trying to impose on us, then we are not free. We are not really ourselves. We're just being what we believe we are, or what we've been thought we are.
A new cultural age should be initiated, diffusing everywhere the doctrine of fundamental education. Students should defend their rights courageously and demand true vocational teachers from governments.
And so, that was it for this lesson. I hope you liked it, and as usual, I will see you next time. Take care.